How to draw an easy mandala for beginners. We're going to need a pencil, a protractor, a ruler and a compass. We're going to start today by finding the center point of our piece of paper, and we can do this simply by using the diagonal. From our center mark, we're going to put some markings starting at about 1.5 centimeters, or you can certainly start at 1 centimeter, and then we're going to place marks every 1 centimeter after that. And using a compass, we're going to draw our circles from all the dots we just drew, starting from the center one and working our way out. I do also have another video about how to draw a mandala grid, which I will link here in the top corner. So now we're going to find our center point of our piece of paper. To draw our vertical and horizontal lines. Always making sure to go through the center point that we drew. Now we get our protractor and we line it up with our center dot, and we're going to place markings at every 10 degrees all the way around. Once we've done all our markings, we're going to get the ruler and we're going to draw from one point to its opposite point through our center mark. Be careful at this stage to be as accurate as you can, because you want all these sections to be of equal distance, and sometimes just a pencil width could be the difference between making it all just a little bit off. We try to be as accurate as we can at this stage. It just makes things a lot more balanced in the later stages of drawing. So starting from our vertical line, our center vertical line, we're going to draw a small petal spanning 2 segments. And then we're going to repeat this shape all the way around. I like to turn my paper as I draw, so I'm not constantly having to change my posture and position. I find this works best for me. For our second row, we're going to start offset from the first row, and we're going to draw down to the tips of the petals on the first row. So we're drawing the same basic shape, but just slightly elongated. So we're going to repeat this all the way around as we did for the first row. For our third row, we're going to mix it up a little bit and we're going to invert the shape. So we're going to draw like a little tip at the top, and again we're drawing down to the tips of the petals of our second row. Whoops, mistake. All good. Find an eraser, rub it out and keep going. You'll find that the more you draw these shapes, the better and quicker you'll become at drawing them. It's just like a muscle memory. Once your hand and your body understand what the task is, it can then reproduce it over and over with very little effort. But like everything, if we're just starting out to do this for the first time, we're going to have to think about it a lot more, and probably you'll be drawing and rubbing out quite a bit until you get the desired shape. But don't worry, it's not about absolute perfection here. It's just about creating a shape that you're happy with and then repeating that shape all the way around. For our fourth row, we're going to mimic the shape of our second row petals. Again, offset from the previous row so that we're drawing down to the corners of the shapes. Just hold your pencil lightly and sketch these shapes as we start to move towards the bigger shapes. Just be light with the pencil, and small little sketches to craft the shape might be a lot more pleasant an experience than trying to draw it with perfection the first time. And always draw a very light pencil. That way, if you need to rub something out, it's not a drama. It's not going to affect the paper, and it's not going to be very difficult to erase. For our next row, row number 5, we're going to mimic the shape of row 3. So we're going to create that inverted petal shape. This time we're going to span 2 rows, so we're going to be working from the outer edge down to the tips of the petals in the row before. So once again, just get comfortable drawing this larger shape using soft, light pencil sketches as you work your way around. You might find that as you keep drawing, the shape gets a little bit better, and that's the goal here. All we're trying to do is improve as we progress. As long as all the shapes, once again, reflect each other, that's the goal. And don't forget to breathe and enjoy the process, because we are having fun. Okay, so now that we've finished our final row, we're going to go in and put a few details in just to create a bit of interest. So we'll start with the largest shape, and we'll just mimic the shape that we've just drawn in a slightly smaller format within the petal itself. This is a lovely, quick and easy technique to create some interest in your mandala designs. Try to enjoy the sketching phase. This is one of my favorite stages of drawing a mandala because it's where the fresh ideas emerge and it's where things are still pliable. So you can still erase some lines and shift things, and the sketching process also creates that kind of muscle memory, I suppose, so that when you do come to the stage of going over these lines with a pen, because you've already done the exercise in pencil, you're going to be a lot more confident when you put the ink to the paper. So don't forget to be sitting up straight in your seat with your feet flat on the ground and back upright, and don't forget to breathe. So we're going to repeat this now in the previous row as well. We're going to duplicate the petal shape as an internal line. Moving one row in again, we're going to create more of a petal design reminiscent of the inner row. So just a small petal, thin petal shape. I think it's a pretty lovely addition. All of these shapes are classic mandala shapes. They're all timeless, very elegant, and it's good to train your body to be drawing these shapes because you'll be drawing them over and over and over. I'm using a 0.5 millimeter micron pen. You can use any pen width that you choose, but I find 0.5 is a pretty good starting point. It gives a nice solid line. You don't want the line to be too thin, because then you'll find that if you do have the wobbles a little bit, all of those imperfections will show a lot more with a very fine tip. So 0.5 I find is a pretty good starting point for beginners. So we're just going to trace over our lines, working all the way around and just feeling confident as we put our pen to the paper. We're not second guessing ourselves. We've already drawn these lines in pencil, so we know what to do. Moving to the next row, as we start to draw larger shapes, one of the tricks that I like to do is to repeat the same curve all the way around while I turn my page. This way my posture remains the same, I'm comfortable, and my hand is repeating the shape over and over. Therefore, it's drawn with confidence and intention. And then the same applies to complete the shape. So for row 3, we're going to use the same idea of drawing the exact same shape repeatedly, as we turn our paper. And we're going to finish the shape the exact same way, retaining our posture and our position as we turn the paper. Draw slowly and confidently. I have actually sped the video up just a touch, just to keep it flowing. So certainly don't try to be drawing as quickly as I am. So we're going to move straight into drawing our thin petal shape within this shape. So moving on to row 4 and our larger petals, and once again we're going to repeat the idea of drawing a curve or a line and turning our paper. So once we've closed off all those petals, we're going to also draw the internal petal to finish that row. Drawing a mandala is about the process, it's not always about the finished product. So be mindful to really enjoy the process. Having good posture, having your energy flow comfortably through your body as you draw, it's a big part of it. So remembering to breathe, and I often like to breathe in and breathe out and then do the line. So it's sort of an intentional flow. On the out breath, you're drawing the line. So as we go to draw our final row, these shapes are much larger than all the others, so do have good posture and make sure you have enough ability to maneuver your hand comfortably to draw the larger curve. To get the real benefits from drawing mandalas, you have to create a process that's non-judgmental and not too challenging. So if something's not working for you, it may be that you're a little bit hunched over or you haven't positioned yourself comfortably to draw that particular shape. And that's why this technique of moving the paper is ideal for me personally, because it allows me to really control my body and allows me to be present in the moment of drawing, which is the part I really love the most. So moving on to complete the internal line on the outer row. I'm just going a little bit off plan here, and I'm going to repeat the nice elongated petal shape that we've been producing this whole way through. I'm just going to pop one in here on the outer row because I think it'll go quite nicely. I don't like to leave big white open spaces in my mandalas. I do love to embellish. So you can see the mandala coming together now as we finish up the last element on that petal. But wait, there's always a little bit more. I'm going to draw some circles just around the outer rim, just to give it a little bit of pizzazz, something to tie it all together and give it a bit of a lovely frame. So do your best to draw round circles. These are always quite difficult to do freehand, but I find once you kind of develop a technique, then it's just a matter of going with it, and again, not being too judgmental and worrying too much about circles perhaps not being the same size or not being perfect circles. Just breathe in, let it flow, and enjoy. Now that we've completed all the ink work, we're going to gently rub out our pencil lines. And there you have it, our beautiful mandala. I do hope you've enjoyed this process, and look out for part 2, where we're going to embellish it a little bit more. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching.